All right, guys, hi. Thank you for joining me here today. I'm Dorothy, your professional astrologer. So I want to talk about January for the month, but before I do that, I just want to let you know, if you haven't signed up for my email list, amongst the new people who go to my website, nhastrologer.com, and join my email list for my newsletter, of the new people who do that, I am picking 3 people every month for a 20-minute session free with me. So go to nhastrologer.com and sign up there if you would like to be part of that. And please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I put up lots of videos every single month and you are notified when they are up. So let's get started. I want to talk about, for this month, 3 things, because otherwise these videos just get way too long. So I have 3 things that I've chosen out of the month, and there's always a ton more that I want to talk to you guys about in the general sense. So I'm going to give you that general information right now. And the second piece of each video will be where these things are going on and influencing you for each of your zodiac signs. I also like to pull an oracle card or 2. I might just do that too for each sign for the month of January. All right, so let me get started with what's going on here. So I got my notes in front of me. It's a big whiteboard. See? Talking about being authentic. Very important to be authentic right now. It's always important to be our true selves anyways. This is me. I'm not going to be anybody I'm not. When we live in our own authenticity, we live true to ourselves, you know, the energy, life just flows a whole lot better. And I know that just my own life experience has proven that to myself. So one of the first things I'm going to talk about, I'll tell you really quick. Mercury retrograde, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about Jupiter retrograde and as it makes its conjunction to the North Node, the lunar node, on the day it goes retrograde. And then if I'm not running too long, I'm going to talk about Venus and Sag. Okay, so Mercury. Mercury's retrograde January 7th all the way through January 26th. Now, it starts its retrograde motion in the sign of Aquarius. It will only be at 0 degrees of Aquarius, but it will be at that degree for a whole week. And so we're getting to start off a retrograde. Retrogrades, you know, the day that, especially Mercury or any planet, truly, when they go retrograde, the day that they're retrograde, and even the day that they're direct, they're at a standstill from our perspective here on this planet. And you know, the energy of that just means that what it means is nothing's moving. Nothing will move. It's stopped. It's like us when we're in our car. You know, there's that dead stop before we go the next direction. So Mercury tends to be very free-flowing, great for gathering information. It's very lighthearted, very easy, kind of like the butterfly, because we're describing, you know, Mercury in its natural rulership of Gemini. Now, with it in Aquarius, as it goes retrograde, again being in 1 degree for a whole week as opposed to a single day like it usually is, lots of communication issues are just going to go hit a standstill. And whether this means that, whether it's communication and, you know, phones just go bad, computers go haywire for a little bit, or if we look at the other aspect of Mercury, transportation and movement. So wherever you live, there could be some weather. You know, I live in the northern hemisphere, so I'm looking at, you know, probably some bad weather that week, just that will keep us home a little more so we're not moving out and about as much, okay? So don't take this as the end of the world by any means, but there will definitely take this whole week, especially the first week of January, it'll take a little while for us to get rolling on what this Mercury energy is really wanting to produce. It's not going to produce much in Aquarius. What it will do when it moves into the sign of Capricorn, somewhere around the 10th, once it moves into the sign of Capricorn, like 29 degrees, 28, it's backing all the way up to 14 degrees of Capricorn, which is where those cardinal planets have been, you know, right around 13, 14, 15 degrees for months and years on end, right? And that tells me that we got some more cardinal cross, cardinal T-square things happening, and this is the case. So later in the month, this will take a little while, but on January 20th, Mercury makes a square aspect to Uranus, and then on the 22nd and the 30th, it conjuncts Pluto. Now, it conjuncts Pluto as a retrograde planet on the 22nd and as a direct planet on the 30th. So what do these two things mean? And I'm going to get to where it is for each of the signs in just a second, so hang on. With Mercury making a square aspect to Uranus, this is communication, especially as a retrograde planet. You know, there's just going to be, we're going to be getting weird emails, we're going to be getting weird messages, we're going to be getting stuff that is just through the roof very different. Now, Aquarius and Uranus rules Aquarius. Since Mercury started its retrograde in that sign, and the planet that is the ruler of gets an aspect from Mercury, you know, we're going to, you know, we feel like we need to move and we need to do something. This could be a pretty tricky retrograde this time around. If you have electronics, this is one of the times, because Aquarius rules those things. I would recommend before we go retrograde, so you're going to hear this ahead of time because I have it up in December. For those of you lucky enough to see it ahead of time, definitely back up your electronics and keep an eye on them. You know, fix things, renew things, do what you need to do to keep things in alignment and up to date. And that's really important. And that's that Mercury square Uranus, all right, January 20th. And we're going to feel that a few days on either side of that date, okay? And that's the day that the sun enters Aquarius as well. So I'm telling you, it's going to be an interesting day on January 20th. There's just going to be a lot of rocking and rolling going on. And I'll be there to see it too. We'll let each of us know how that happens. Fill me in when you get a chance if you like. Then on the 22nd and on the 30th, when Mercury does make this conjunction to Pluto, you know, whatever we were doing that went through a major shakeup or just, you know, amazing news. I mean, this can even be amazing news. Don't take shakeups as something that's negative all the time, you know, with that Uranus energy. On the 22nd, when it does conjunct Pluto, there could be a very deep transformation. It's like, okay, so I have this new information. What do I do with it now? All right, what do I do with it now? And this is how we look at it. And on the 22nd, all the way through the 30th, Mercury will just be in conjunction with Pluto that whole time, within a few degrees either side. And so we are changing and transforming how we see things and how we feel about something and how we're presenting that out in our immediate environment. Because Mercury is in charge of the immediate environment as well as the communication piece that everybody speaks about. So if you don't know enough about Mercury, go search it out and you'll get lots of good information about that. So next step is what is going on in what house. So, and the houses will be representative of your zodiac sign. So that is next. Okay, Scorpio, this is addressed towards you. So now we have specifics just for you. And I do want to let you know that the retrograde of Mercury is on January 5th. I don't think I mentioned that in the first few minutes of the video. So I was talking about it in Aquarius, but I wasn't talking about when it actually went retrograde. So January 5th is the day it stands still. Communication will be at a standstill on that day. It's usually a bit tough to get anything through on that day. And all of this, all of that Mercury stuff and all of the retrograde and the Capricorn stuff I mentioned in the beginning of the video here, is going on in your solar third house, and that's where Mercury lives. So accidentally dignified when it's moving through that sector, but it is, because it rules that sector, but it is in the retrograde motion. So I think for you guys especially, the deep, intense communications you guys tend to like might be a little trickier over the next few weeks while Mercury is in Capricorn and retrograde in that sector, all right? Because Pluto's has been moving through there for quite a while anyways. So take time and just allow the things to be. And if something isn't working, just, you know, take notes, come back to it later, all right? Like next month later, okay? Now moving on as well to Jupiter. Because the thing I want to talk about today, Jupiter is retrograde on January 7th. The day it goes retrograde, it is as well conjunct to the North Node. All of this is on 23 degrees of Virgo. Now I also have a video up right now. It's been up for a few months, Jupiter in Virgo. So I want you to, actually it's been up for quite a few months. So I'll put a link in right here, right now, in this minute or so, and you can click on that and go watch that as well. I'll give you additional information than what I'm giving you here. Okay, so Jupiter retrograde conjunct the North Node on January 7th. Jupiter and the North Node will be traveling together off, they'll be a little wide here and there, but they'll be off and on. They'll be traveling together all the way as a conjunction through June or July, something in that nature. What we get with this is we get inspiration. We get the idea of looking at the bigger picture. The North Node is created when we have eclipses. And so this position in the zodiac, out of all 360 degrees, this right in this area, 20, 21, 22, 23 degrees of Virgo, is where the eclipse was back in September. And now that Jupiter is making a station there and the node is moving over that part, what it tells us is there is something that is, we're stepping it up a bit. Most of us are on a path right now where we're needing to take a left or a right. We're needing to either to walk further down our spiritual path, and this is very, very spiritual, this energy of Jupiter and the North Node, or we're just going to back off, and because it's too hard. And you can do either, and either is equally fine. It's always up to us. It's always up to us because we always have freedom of choice. And so when this happens, where this is going on for you, being being a Scorpio, it's in your solar 11th house. So the causes and the groups, the spiritual groups that you belong to, it could be that you just need to back off from some of these groups and not have a practice, a spiritual practice. But if you're in groups, you may have outgrown certain groups. And the transit of Jupiter and the North Node for the next 6 months moving through that sector is definitely going to help you to decipher and see if that's what it is that you want to do. Okay? All right. And that is specific for you, Scorpio. And then we're going to move on to Venus in Sagittarius. And while Venus is in Sag, Venus is love. It's what we value, food we eat, people we go on dates with, or the ones we're married to, things like that. All that love relationship stuff. And our senses and what we value and what we think is beautiful. In Sagittarius makes us, encourages fun and being adventurous. So no matter where you are in a relationship, even if you're not, go out, have fun, be adventurous. And you're looking and seeking that in a relationship. If you don't have it in the relationship you're in, you're feeling the need for it. All right? Now, if you're not in a relationship, we also have Saturn involved with this. Venus will make a conjunction to Saturn this month, and I'm not going to give you the exact date because I don't want you to focus on just that date. Venus is coming up to Saturn, and sometime here in January, when it does make that, we're going to feel the need to commit to something. We're either going to take that partner of ours and just ask them to commit to us. They might ask you to commit to them. You might, because you want to, and you're in your heart space, and that's good. Or you might not because of fear of commitment. Or you might want someone to commit to you for fear of being alone. So examine what's going on for you. All of this goes on in your solar second house. All right? So if it's not the relationship, here's another thing that it can be. It's the things that we value. Because it's that Taurus sector of the chart where Venus rules as well. And so, and Saturn's been moving through there. So with Saturn moving through that sector already, Venus is just coming in, making a quick hit and moving on. Saturn will be in that sector for a couple of years. So with Saturn in that sector, the things that we own, the finances and the things that we value, those are getting a trimming. It's like peeling a carrot or peeling an apple. For some reason you don't want the skin on the outside. So, because it's not good to you. It's not worth, it's not what you need anymore. So you get into the middle. Saturn helps us get rid of the things that we don't need anymore in our lives. And that's what's going on there with it in that second house. You might be getting rid of an extra job. Maybe you work 3 jobs and you've just had enough and you're finally getting full time, so you're down to 1 job. That's Saturn in the second house. All right? So things like that. So I want you to keep that in mind and be adventurous, though. Be fun, have fun, love. Be adventurous. And let me grab the cards for you guys, because I said I was going to pull a couple cards for everybody. And so what we got here is Triumphant Awareness. So we have Awareness, which is the Crown Chakra card. All right? That's the first card in the deck. That's the second card in the deck. And So being open and being aware. So open that crown chakra, spend some time in meditation to be more connected and aware. And then the next card comes up, it's known as it used to, well, in tarot, it's the charioteer, but it's triumph. So take the energy of that. Especially this stuff that I'm ending with. It seems these cards are really, I've pulled, I'm up to you guys now, so I've gone through most of the zodiac already. These cards I'm pulling tend to really, they're adding information to the Venus and the Saturn that I spoke of last in the astrology of things for this month. So I think if what it's telling me here is that if you do take things to heart, you know, figure out how to cut back on some spending. I know it's the holiday season when I'm recording this, and when I will put this up, it won't even be Christmas yet. But it is, we're in the middle of Hanukkah though, so that helps. But we're spending money, and so maybe we shouldn't. And so this is just letting us know that if we take our time and we focus in and not being overly frivolous about things, then what we value will have more value to us. And the finances that we do have coming in will be what we need. They're always what we need. All right, I'm going to leave you with that. I could talk for hours. So please come to my website, readings, classes, mentorship stuff. Please subscribe, and please share this with others. And thank you. That's all I can ask for. Lots of love. Namaste.